And we are live. Hello, everyone. Welcome to a Monday spaceship stream. You can be watching from anywhere around the country or the world, and I really appreciate that. Coming to you from the spaceship studios from a galaxy far, far away. We have some interesting things again to talk about this evening while I play the game, and we will hang out and chat. And what I'll be doing at the moment is switching over so you all can see me. Hello, it's me, Alien Spaceship. Welcome to the show. And hello, Dwayne. Thank you for the great emoji, the heart. I mean, not the rose rather. The roses and hearts to me seem interchangeably the same thing to me. But thank you for the rose emoji. I appreciate that. Also, oh hello, Jamie. It's great to see you. Hello. And what I do with my friends is I make them a mod when they come in here. So welcome. I know you from the trials, so it's nice to have you here with us in the spaceship. So basically, what I do is I talk about trials and a variety of different topics. You know, it's eclectic. It could go anywhere really, and I play a game in the beginning usually. So, and it's also while we have people come through, we do that, and later on I get into more articles and stuff. But I usually also do it while I play the game at the same time. All right. So, hello everybody. Now I'll be starting up the game, seeing how that goes, and go on from there. Yeah. So it was. Oh, hello Danielle. It's wonderful to see you. Hello. Yeah. And I hope everything goes well with your hockey team. I hope they have victory. I'm glad that you told us hello. I really appreciate that. All right, so today I was what's called trial hopping. I was trial hopping today. So what that means is I go from it used to be when Law and Crime would have more trials up, they would have this thing called trial hopping, which means going from one trial to another trial or one channel to another channel. So that's what I was kind of doing today. I was doing the trial hop around YouTube, and I was on the other channel where Jamie saw me, and I got to tell. I was talking to some people over there that are not at the Law and Crime chat anymore. I was talking to Pammy, who's I knew her from a couple years ago, and she was one of the people that requested that. Yes, I was cheating. Yes, Jamie caught me red-handed cheating while going to the other trial group. Scared. That's true. I was cheating. I was being a dirty alien. I was being a sleazy alien. Ah, then we got 666 up in here. Oh, awesome. Hey, buddy. We were glad to see you right now. Also, this is an island you'd probably like. It's a spooky haunted island. Yeah, Pammy, she was the one that although so I found Law and Crime during the Johnny Depp trial. I talk about this all the time. So people have probably heard me say this 10,000 times. Is that I found Law and Crime during Depp, so the power not the power but the connection went out for Independent, and everybody was saying Law and Crime was on, so we were going over there to see that, and I watched it over there for a day or for a couple hours, and then I got other notifications for different trials. Law and Crime did not have trials. No, Independent was not broadcasting any more trials, just Depp's trial. So Law and Crime was doing it, and I would see Pammy in the chat. She really enjoyed my company and liked seeing what I had to say. So her and other people and her friends want like to talk to me. So I continued to go into the trials, and I was going to be dedicated to it and going to completely go there. Now there's a point where Law and Crime changed, and some people didn't like all the fighting that was going on, so they went over to other places. So I was seeing some old friends. So I was cheating on my trial chat friends and Law and Crime to of cheating with the other people for a day. So It was a good conversation I had with them. It's been a while since I've seen them, and also Kathy Smith. She seems like she jumped ship at Law and Crime and went over to the other place. Oh, hello, Eugene. Good to see you, buddy. Yes, the infamous Law and Crime fights. All right. And 666 asked me a question. He says, "How are the trials going?" I haven't been over there. I think I was in the Carlos Domin. I'm being kind of goofy when I say this. Dominguez trial on Thursday. I've been floating in Dateline and then to a new channel I discovered shows horror movies. Oh, that's very cool. A creature feature does that too. That's another one that I watch. Yes, 666, that channel. And Capri Law is over there too. So yeah, so Capri Law is over at that channel, and so the trials, the Karen Reed trial has been extremely cringe. Creature Feature is a try. I've not seen Creature Feature in a while, as I usually go to Smoke and Scan on Friday. I go to Smoke and Scan now, but yeah, Creature Feature is some other channel where they have old movies. I haven't been there in a long time, but it's still a good channel to watch. Hello, Regina. We're talking about some trials and a couple other things. The chat requested over at Law and Crime for me to go live. Right. Yeah, so basically what happened was with the trials, yeah, so Karen Reed, people are fighting on both sides. It's very split down the middle. Hello, Cecil. Scared. So there is this trial going on where we have people fighting back and forth. You got people insulting each other. And GSI 8 has been very infamous in that chat. She has been, typing very good at typing very fast, and she's been very logical. And on both sides, she has a good perspective. And she was, telling me more about law. Like I learned a lot about law from Capri Law, also from Caraville and GSI 8. I'm learning, and it seems in this time period, Caraville and GSI are the ones that I'm learning from the most at this time period. Last year it was more Capri Law, the more now Capri Law seems to have jumped ship for a variety of different reasons, but she seems like she's at the other channel from what I am aware of. So the other trial with the stabbing in California today, they went out for a little bit. Their feed went out. Another thing that happened today was it's just a little group of our chat friends talking about a variety of different things. And you had some witness today, medical professional, and he kind of like wasn't making much sense from what I could see from what chat was saying and from what I was seeing. And it's just going its route. The dude's completely guilty. It's just going its way. That one seems more calm, but the Karen Reed one is horrendous. Uh, Cecil, how'd you get in here? I told Alien to put a sign up saying Cecil had to ride an inflammable, scared like a mechanical bull for becoming in, I guess, you wrote it. Your man, you're here. Good to see you, bro. Shout out to 666. Shout out to 666. That was hilarious. Yeah, that is true, 666. We're getting our groove on in here. Yep. That's exactly what happened. And Cecil's a trooper. It's a trooper. Eugene says alien abducted me from ABL's chat. That's true. I did abduct you from there. I abducted Regina from there too, and a couple other people. But yeah, I love abducting people from ABL show. It's very, good to do that and getting scared. Scared. All right, let's go sink some ships. It was actually pretty cool this morning. I'm trying to find a ship. Oh, ABL is this. He's a black news, a political commentary channel. Anthony Brian Logan. He does commentary on news and politics and stuff like that and culture. I found that channel before I found Law and Crime. That was in 2020. And hello, Steve Kerfuffle. Hey, buddy. So, Steve, today it was Cringe and Karen Reed's trial, and a lot of people were fighting each other. I got there a little bit later than I intended to, but I was there and the chat missed me. Then I went over to this other trial where they have this person that stabbed somebody, and that was just neutral. That trial is just so neutral. There's nothing really fights going on. It's just there's a witness and there's some stuff. There's really nothing too much to talk about with that trial. But yeah, Karen Reed, you had Alan Jackson. He was very angry at the witness today, and he was getting red. So, and chat requested me to go live, and I was glad to do a live stream for chat. And also Diddy today. Diddy had his trial today, and they had the person on the stand, police on the stand was talking about the what he saw with the abuse that Diddy did to his girl. And he was giving his commentary about it. And they have a couple of different updates about it. It was, so they can't have cameras in the courtroom, but they had it outside the courthouse. Yes, he is good to watch, yes. And also, it's entertaining at the same time. As I said, I think so, Cecil. Yes. Yeah, the Diddy trial is just going on its way. It's, just witnesses, talking on the stand about what they saw Diddy do. And the chat seems to pretty much agree that he is a disgrace and he seems very guilty. And I think that he is completely cringe, Diddy. I think he's still completely guilty. Yeah. Diddy had a male escort urinate in Cassie's mouth. That is disgusting. Steve, that's disgusting. Those freak-offs were something else. Oh yeah, there's all kinds of disgusting details that were going on from the Diddy trial. And thanks, Steve, for talking about what you learned. Yeah, and him and all of his baby oil. But we are going to talk about the Diddler and all the updates about him. Eugene said Diddy is close to being like R. Kelly. What they saw Diddy do, say that fast 3 times. I will actually do that. I'll do it. Let's see. and this is gonna be something funny for y'all. Okay, something funny for y'all. What they saw Diddy do. 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 It sounds catchy. It's like they probably need to put some bleach in their eyes. They probably need to get some new eyes from Timu after seeing what Diddy do, Diddy do, Diddy do. Yeah, baby oil. He uses those during his freak offs and he buys them from Timu. All right. Now we're continuing. Let's go here. What did he do? Did he do? Did he do? What did he do? What did he do? If you want to find the missing kids that you see posters of, just ask Diddy. Ah, yep. Also, he was dropping some names and got he's dropping some names of people, and he reminds you of Epstein. He really does. Yeah, I think he certainly is responsible for that. You know, I believe so that he would certainly be responsible for those crimes, definitely. Aaron says, guys, speaking of missing kids, you see the two missing in Nova Scotia? Oh, I did not know about that case. Welcome, Aaron. I'm glad that you are here. And yeah, I have not heard about that case, but thank you for letting us know about it. I really appreciate it. Yeah, the diddler is certainly disgusting. I remember like they're showing updates from Law and Crime at the courthouse. They're showing like a red thing, and they're showing updates because they can't go inside the courtroom because of it's a federal trial, so they can't show cameras. Which I totally disagree. I think federal trials should have cameras. The mom left the town and blocked him on socials, Aaron. Those kids are not lost. Scared. Exactly. It's like, what are we doing? It's like basically when you put that type of, connecting the dots like that, and it looks like it's something it isn't something. That's why it's good to investigate deeper, because there's a lot of deception and lies that goes on with those types of cases, Jamie. Yeah, something is not adding up. There's something missing in the equation with that. I do agree. One time, Jesse was talking on the Law and Crime show that he believes that the camera should be inside. Yeah, I totally agree with him on that. All right, gonna sink some ships. Scared. All right, that ship went far down, far down. Because I don't believe in censorship of any kind, and I believe that in federal trials, I'd say are the most important. Yeah, and Jamie said that she would be crawling through the woods searching, and would not leave the town. Yeah, when you're leaving a town, the Crumbleys, the two Crumbly parents, had the kid that shot up the school. They were What happened to them was they were trying to flee the town after what their son did. And now they're both incarcerated. So I think that leaving the town is a sign of complete guilt. And if people really care about their kids, they're not going to go and leave like that. Steve says, I always said if I ever lost one of my dogs, I grab and not come home till I find them. I could only imagine my kids. Exactly. You know, discarding them and throwing them away like a piece of trash. You know, completely like a piece of trash. And I think that is completely wrong. You know, for her to do that. Cecil says, right, how could you sleep knowing that they are gone? And Jamie said, there is no greater terror than not knowing where your kids are. Kid is, it's even for a minute. Absolutely. That's the worst thing for a parent to lose. Aaron says, let's be honest, something happened day one. They said those kids were sick for a week, then went missing. They had a 7-day start. Ah, exactly. It's like you lose a something. You lose anything, and you would be triggered over it. Imagine losing your own kid. That has to be the worst thing in the whole planet. So, if truly in that situation, you would go be looking for your kid for days and weeks. You'd be looking. You would not rest until you found them. Steve says, I can't wait to see Kimberly Sullivan get the book thrown at her. Amen. Absolutely. 46 Noradity. Facts. Hello, Five Cats. It's great to see you. I'm glad you're able to come to the spaceship. Oh, and we have Gloria. Scared. Scared. Aaron says my daughter was in a horrific car accident last year. Oh no. It took me 10 minutes to get to her. Longest 10 minutes of my life. Traumatized. Can't even imagine not knowing where she is for any longer. Well, I feel so bad, and it's unfortunate. It's terrible you had to go through that. You know, heart goes out to you, Aaron. You know, car accidents can be very deadly. They can be very dangerous. Yeah. Scared. Shout out to Gloria. Shout out to McQuaid. Shout out to Gam Catches Up too. He's another good channel. He likes to make 3D models and paint them. Shout out to him also. Yeah, so shout out to Smoke and Scan, ABL, and Law and Crime, and all the different ones. Yeah, shout out to everybody. Shout out to chat, the greatest chat on the interwebs. of all time, the greatest of all time. She's great. The truck flipped 3 times. Oh no, she has to crawl out the windshield. She was cracking jokes at EMT, fully recovered. Oh, amen. I'm so glad. Yeah, thank God. Yeah, you did raise a strong one there. Absolutely, she did. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, buddy. As I said, remarks on Karen Reed, it was just a lot of fighting in the chat, and I got there a little bit later than I wanted to get there because of my Timu timing I was having. But it was nice to talk to the different people where, my friends that were being civilized. Because you want to find what the truth is. You don't want to just like go by your own biased opinion. You want to find what the truth is. And G was telling me about law that you could paint a picture of something that isn't really there. Like you could say, with the using the English language and twisting things around a little bit, you can make something look like it wasn't. You could go and make something look the same way that it was. So, like, she told me attorneys laugh all the time when they come back home because they do these certain stuff to make something look a certain way, but just so someone can be guilty, they can make someone look innocent that's guilty. I learned some stuff from YouTube, of course, by being on YouTube watching trials, and also I've seen some college lectures on YouTube about how law works and stuff, and you could certainly twist things around that aren't really there. Like something could look bad, like the police force not doing the investigation right, but the defense has a lot to work with there. Way to bring down the mood, eh? Yeah. It's all right, Aaron. We're glad to talk to you. Oh, everybody, Danielle, everybody was fighting at Karen Reed. Everybody was. That's our entire news media in print, Alien. Oh yeah, exactly, exactly. Because yeah, G is in New York City, and she worked on Wall Street. Also, she's a 9/11 survivor too. Tough lady, and I appreciate what I could learn. And I've learned a lot. And yeah, she told me that they do these different tricks and things, and you know, like I said, something could look a certain way, but it's not the way it looks. But they can make it look. They could frame somebody. All right, so shout out to Eugene and his channel. He has good content. He has good music on there. I recommend checking him out. So yeah, yeah, she's brilliant. Oh, hello Zero. Good to see you, buddy. All right, let's. I'll put it in the description. Or yeah, let's see. I'm gonna do this right now. I'll put his link in the description. Y'all go subscribe to him. Oh, I'll get y'all the link right here. That is his channel. You're welcome, Eugene. Always appreciate you, buddy. Yeah, help each other out. Shout out to these people. Subscribing to different channels. Awesome. Yeah, I think that it's absolutely cringe with. Oh, good. Thank you, Danielle. Thank you, everybody, for subscribing to him. That's really important. That's really important. All right, I'm gonna drop another link. Let's see. Oh, that's good. You're sub to him. That's good. You're sub to him. I'm going to guess you haven't had the time to review the video I've sent. Zero. I've looked at it. I've looked at it. I didn't watch the whole thing, but I looked at it. I think it's a very interesting concept, Zero, how in different time periods humanity has evolved certain ways and they adapt to different systems as time's gone on. I think it's quite fascinating how that works. And I think the scale does accurately talk about those things. It's a good scale. It's not something I've heard before. And Miranda, my friend, it's so good to see you. Hey, how's it going, everyone? And let's see. I want to answer Miranda's question first. And Zero, I am going to get to you in a moment, buddy. All right. So, Miranda said, hey, how's it going, everyone? I hope all moms, including Mary Toodles, had a wonderful weekend. Well, Miranda, I hope that Mary Toodles had a wonderful weekend. Well, it was, working with the cats and stuff. And I did get her a very nice card. And it's a pop-out card with a hummingbird on a flower. And I got her something else that maybe even here, I don't know, it's supposed to come in. But she's doing well. And thank you, Miranda, for the Mother's Day wishes. And Miranda, hope that you had a great Mother's Day, too. I hope that you had a good time as well. Also, everybody's doing fine on the spaceship. In general, thank you. And also, my friend Buddy Zero says, did you at least get to the part where you understand beings of worship are level 7 at the scale? Yes, yes. And as I said, I believe in God, as I told you, but I do acknowledge about the scale, yes. About level 7 on the scale, right. And also, you see, as I said, I believe aliens are also a source of why people worship deities. But I do understand as the society evolves, say, there's a cavemen, and there's people before that, and they're nomadic, and it kind of goes up and up. And then say, although I believe in religion and God, say they want to have comfort to something, or it develops a little bit more and advances more, and they go and believe in deities that either came here, there is a God, or they developed enough to come to that. I know from like the communists, kind of not calling you a communist, but they had a theory that society would evolve over time to have religion, and that was part of their institution, and it was part of the human development. But they believed it would go to communism and go away from religion, but it didn't really work out that way because I believe God's real, and that's why it didn't happen. But yes, eventually society, when it's developed enough, it goes into that. Correct. As I said, I have to look more into the video, but yes, I understand what you're saying. Yes. And Alien, there's nowhere else I can come to share besides here with you guys on Mother's Day. I found out my fed mother's ashes were dumped. Here yearly death anniversary will be August. Condolences for the loss, Miranda. Thank you for letting us know about what's going on. It's always unfortunate when a loved one is lost. All right. Let's see. Danielle was actually so scary. He was just fixed. It must have been where he'd hid so well. I was sure he escaped that time. Thanks for comforting me, assuring me to keep looking. Oh, you're welcome, Miranda. We're glad to help you out, fam. All right. You watched a video about godlike AI. Yeah, AI is getting advanced. Miranda, that cat was gonna pull a prank on y'all. That cat was gonna, play the cat was playing hide and go seek. Scared. Scared. Well, Miranda, we're glad that chat was encouraging you and helping you feel better. There's a meme that my buddy Douglas would send me when something spooky would happen or some outcome that we didn't like happened. It's these cats that were hiding inside the sofa. And that's basically what Miranda's cat did. It's disguised very well. Scared. Zero says, what's new on my desk? Pauses. Well, CERN made lead into gold, if anyone is interested. Zero, that sounds like some pure alchemy. That sounds very fascinating. Put some of the Timu gold on my desk. Centuries after alchemists sought transmission, CERN scientists have turned lead into gold using Large Hadron Collider. Yes. Wow, the hour has come, Zero. The hour has come. Miranda said, Steve, I have 2 couches and 1 ottoman. That's really cool. Those are very nice couches. And I filled all of them and cut the U reefs open to dig, and he was way back bending in with the foam because he's mostly white. Scared. Sorry, I pulled the couches out and cut them all open for the bottom. Aaron said something. All right, Aaron. See you back in a little bit if you're still on. All right, let's go sync some she-ups. What is this? Go to Cuba right now. Zero says, at least this warning won't be unnoticed here by most. We have 3 days before we're all going to find out something huge. Every one of you better be ready. Yeah, we're locking and loading, Zero. We're all ready. Thank you for the warning. Oh, understood, Miranda. It's interesting how you're able to do that, and like what you went through and what you did during that time. Like, say you would bring the litter box in at night. Very fascinating. Miranda says, and then my cat Light came out of the house and ate some of the food, and we knew he was there. And my son even was like, "Oh yeah, I saw him." I was like, "Where?" And he went up in the couch. Ah, very bright son, smart young man. Hilarious. You'll know it'll be every fucking where. Scared. Yeah, see, he ate the food. He ate the food like we thought. Absolutely. I'm gonna go sink some royal treasure. Ah, okay. All right, Miranda. Scared for the couch and scared for the 15th. Scared. All right, so now we're going to be attacking the treasure geom. Oh, the treasure fleet has been sunk. It has been sunk. Yeah, I missed the royal treasure fleet. I missed it, but we still have some other ships out here to sink. Miranda, I am so glad that that cat's okay. All right, sinking these ships. Okay, so anyway, yeah, cats be naughty. Also, scared. Gooby. Oh, that's cute. That's a cute name. I like that. Also, Miranda, Moki sent me some documents, some alleged exposed documents about the aliens and stuff from a whistleblower that was locked up. So I don't mind getting a little bit into that too. You know, about the alien, all kinds of things about aliens, about the JFK assassination, about the people with the moon landing, all kinds of different stuff. Very interesting. Steve, he goes Pawnee inside. I did train him and he has a yard, but he loves to only chew my personals. The dog wants the personals. Oh, you have to get a dog license. Okay. Wow. Miranda says in my state I pay pet rent, and it's almost 40 a pet, and you can only have two, but I have three animals. Scared. I read that wrong. She only said that she has two. I read that wrong. Okay. So yeah, she only has two animals, and also she was saying about I didn't ever knew about pet rent. What's that about? What's wrong with these states and these places? Cat and dog licenses. What kind of BS is that? Garbage. What kind of moron made the policies? What kind of moron makes policies like this? Steve says he wants to adopt a Malinios. Hello, Danny. Good to see you, bro. So, Danny, chat is doing fine. We're talking about a variety of different things, and basically, we're talking about pets and dogs right now, also. So, we're talking about trials and things like that, but chat's fine. It's doing good. Thank you, Danny, for asking. We're glad to have you here. Zero says centuries after alchemists sought transmutation, CERN scientists have turned lead into gold using large hadron colliders. By colliding lead ions near the speed, they briefly create gold atoms, demonstrating nuclear stability limits. Steve, that's a funny shirt. Miranda said, so only tell them we have one dog. We don't tell them about the cats because one time I saw a cat where it kept on coming around, around the house. So we couldn't really talk about it because there's another cat on the other side that was trying to come out and eat the other cat's food. So I understand about not telling the other people about the cats that are around because it could cause a problem with there's one being fed and there's this big fight that goes on between the two cats. So yeah, I understand that. I have a cat called Cat and a dog called Trip Hazard. Scared. I'm gonna get rid of this priestess stall. I already have one. I'm gonna put this one in here. Right, might get rid of a vest to replace that. Let's see. Carpenter, open lace shirt. That's gonna go away. I'm gonna put this here. All right. All right. Okay. Now we're on this island. Point to the sun. Is that a good enough hint, Smiles? I was a banker in the real world, Zero. Zero said Alien. There was some new details on Koberger case. It was on Dateline, I think. Oh, okay, thank you. I heard about some new details. I don't know what they were exactly, but I've heard about them. All right, Danielle. Good night to you. Peace. I've known Zero for quite a while. He's pretty cool. He likes to play the game with me. So we'll see what happens in the 15th. We'll see. All right. So yeah, these are the people on the island. This is a military. This is a British base right here. Scared. Moki is here. What? Moki's here. Scared. Mookie. Some Mookie. Understood, Zero. Let's look more into these files. Definitely. Okay, so yeah, it's not Mookie. It's Moki. But I like to call her Mookie. In the beginning, I called her Mookie. Like a cow. Mookie. Or like a ghost. Yes, Zero. It's noted on the record the hint is the sun. Yes. Understood, Zero. I mean, not Zero, but Steve Kerfuffle. I understand. No, it's not MK. No. Americans advised to avoid the sun in 5 states. Scared. Jamie said, perfect, I'm not American. Scared. Cecil says, BK did a lot of searches on the internet. Bundy and wearing all black. Moki said she lives in a desert, so she's out of luck. Eugene says, residents of Arizona, Florida, Colorado, New Mexico, and Texas are facing high levels of ultraviolet UV radiation levels from the sun on Tuesday. A forecast map from Environmental Protection A. Sure, Zero. You could send me something and I'll go and share it with the class. Sure. All right. I'm gonna sink a few more ships. Then we're gonna get into these conspiracy, these whistleblowers and Diddy and all that stuff. More detail about it. Steve said him and the sun are cool. Yes, Five Cats. I enjoyed the moon. Oh, I loved it last night. It was very nice. Yep, we'll stay inside that day. Yeah, people way too annoying. Scared. And also, there's some strange weather. It was kind of cooler down here. I put my hoodie on last night to sleep in. I'm like, it's a little bit cold in here. Yeah, but as I said, I enjoyed it. It was a nice moon. All right. going to dock now. Maybe. Well, we have to take out this ship first because it's being a Timu ship. All right, yeah. So I think that Imoki, I've been very intrigued by the whistleblower information. It's very, very, very fascinating. Oh, that is great. I'm glad that you were able to film it. Thank you, Zero. Got your email. I got it. All right. Thank you, Zero. All right, I got it. All right, we completed the game. Okay. Oh yeah, Moki, there is some stuff in there that seemed kind of far out, but it's still interesting information. All right, Zero. All right, we switching. We're gonna go here for a moment. All right, everybody, you can look at the beautiful alien in an earthly disguise on your screen right now, and y'all are beautiful people too as well. All right, get to see the alien movie star on your screen. Y'all are so lucky, and I am very lucky. More lucky to have y'all with me. All right, so we're gonna go here to this other browser and get the email. Gmail. Volcanoes, earthquakes, and solar flares. Oh my. Absolutely. All right. This is brilliant. This is brilliant. Okay. The other image. Okay. Getting y'all some. This is some. I've not seen the sun look that close. I mean, that is really cool. Wow. Wow. Let's give him a little. Right. He gets a sticker. All right, so now we're going to go over to this other window. Thank y'all for the patience. I really appreciate it. I'll show y'all some interesting pictures. And it's going to be... All right, I'm going to take myself out for a moment. Shout out to the Spaceship Cats. Going to open up 3 windows. Do it in this order. In the Timu order. Right here. All right, here we go. All right, so Zero, you could explain to the class about what we're looking at here, because we have one image right here of the sun very close, sun's far side, and then another one of the sun's far side. Oh yeah, shout out the cats in space. Yeah, the cats love it in space. Imagine if you lived on Earth 65 million years ago. Right? Then you have. All right, we're going to maybe zoom into this a little bit. Zoom into it. All right, so Zero is saying you see the spot in the right side in the center. Yes. And this is going to be facing us directly tomorrow. Okay. Red dwarf, yeah. This is our sun, actually. Okay, and it takes roughly 2 days for a solar wind to reach us, but the math is it's 5, 15, 25. Oh. Yeah, you can see it basically what he's talking about. The right side in the center. And for everybody here, it could be flipped, it could be mirrored. But you have, yeah, so you see that spot he's referring to. He, that is some sort of a solar flare or solar wind of some sort that's going to go and hit us. And Zero, Moki has a question. You can see it in chat. She says, what is that supposed to cause? Why is the sun warming up? Oh, not this one. I could still see something here, Zero. I still see something in this one, but I'll go back to the green one. All right. All right, we'll go to this one. I could see in the other screen, I could see what he was talking about, but he wanted to be this one specifically. Okay. Okay, so basically it's the same thing we're watching with the other screen, but this one is a better view of the sun than the other picture. The spot on the right side in the center. And this is some sort of solar flare that will be heading towards us. And Zero said many top people are saying this is going to be the boss battle. Okay. So it seems like what you're seeing here is some sort of, he said, it takes roughly 2 days for solar wind to reach us. Okay, so the difference between this picture and this other picture is that this is just a picture of the sun up close, and this is showing how impactful it is. So you have different types of, like with weather, there's different, like, radar type imagery. You could see a clouds, like a hurricane clouds, or you could see what's inside of it and how powerful it is. So you can see the sun the way it looks, and that what he's trying to say here is that this very powerful solar wind is going to hit our planet, and it's going to seem like it's going to be doing something to us, he alleges. So, and this is something in the news about it hitting our planet, and we have to see, be warned about something could occur. You're welcome, Zero. You're welcome. Right. And Zero, you want to add anything else to this, please feel free to. About what we're looking at here. So y'all just be cautious on the 15th. So for Regina that was wondering, Zero is now saying what exactly is going on here. And it has to do with some sort of solar wind from the sun that's going to hit our planet, and it's going to be like a bowling ball. Oh, okay, Zero. Okay, Zero. Something else big is coming. Okay, thank you. Yeah, so I'm glad that we're warned about this before it happens. Scared. And I'll look up the definition of solar wind to go in more detail. Solar wind continues flow of charged particles from the sun, which permeates the solar system. Eugene said in 2025 the sun will reach a solar maximum, the peak of its 11-year activity cycle, which is expected to occur in July. I was slammed to the ground from the impact on the Earth's magnetic sphere on the 9th. Steve said it will only be 84 degrees on Wednesday where he is. It was 91 today and tomorrow. Zero said and was struck for nearly 5 minutes until the magnetosphere snapped back. Wow. Where I am, it's hot, but it was pretty cool today. It was cool but hot. Like in the afternoon, it was hot, but it was kind of cool earlier, and at night it was kind of cool, kind of like a desert. Regina said, the 15th Thursday, I guess I should pack a bug bag out bag. Dang. Scared. Scared. Solar wind is a flow of particles that comes off the sun at about 1,000,000 miles per hour and travels through the entire solar system. Zero said, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but you can't run from this. Well, it reminds me of the conductor from Polar Express. It's like, that's something he'd say. It's like, bad news, but we cannot outrun this. Scared. It's like when they were over on the ice and they're going to be going into the ocean, the water. It's like you can't run from it. You just got to go through it. Yes, Jamie, it's normal to have solar flares, but solar flares can cause problems sometimes. And this one's going to be a very powerful one. It may not do anything, but they sometimes do stuff. Let's see what they could do. Nothing may happen, but it's something to be aware of. Solar winds. Okay. Solar winds. I meant solar wind. My bad. Solar wind. The variations in solar wind cause electric storms and corrosion. In the many kilometer long pipelines of Alaska, storms disturb radio transmissions and also space travel has to deal with certain consequences. The charged particles of the solar wind can be compared to radioactive radiation. And if I get something wrong, Zero, correct me. What is the problem with solar wind? All right, Zero. All right, Zero. I'll do that. All right. I'll read you all what he told me what this may cause through the email. I got to remind myself again. All right. Volcanoes, earthquakes, allegedly. This is all alleged. I'm not saying Zero is incredible, just I talk in legal terms. Alleged volcanoes, earthquakes, and solar flares. Oh my. So we could have some Earth problems from this. Both the fast and slow solar wind can interrupted by large, fast release magnetic energy at the sun. CMEs are often called solar storms or space storms in the popular media. Hello, Matt. Thank you for the compliment. Great to see you, buddy. Volcanoes are so hot right now, Hansel. Yeah, exactly. Facts. 666 was here earlier for a moment. Yeah, tell him hello from the spaceship. The flux of electrons create a positive charge in the solar atmosphere. At times, create ambipolar electric field, then accelerate protons to space. This caused the solar wind to be essentially neutral. Scared. All right. Again, this is an image of the sun. All right, and this is the picture of the sun. What it's going to do. You know, at it, how intense it is right now. Moki said hockey is on so stressful. So Matt, there's gonna be a on the 15th, Matt, beware about the sun. Beware. All right. There could be volcanoes, earthquakes and stuff like that possibly could occur. All right. So now what we'll do is we'll get into this whistleblower stuff while Moki's here. Sure. Now hold on, we have to go to the main one. One. Okay. Zero says some more context. The magnetosphere will be forced beyond its limit. If we survive, I really don't know what can happen after that, but I know it's not good. All right, thank you, Zero, for the warning. All right, so we'll talk about from this is the alien alphabet. Eugene says communications, satellite, GPS, power grid could be affected. All right. Well, thank you guys for the information. All right. Scared. Jamie. Scared. I know, right? All right, so this whistleblower person is in prison jail for allegedly releasing documents that were classified. And we've been talking about this for the past couple of days. And thanks for Yes, Zero, I heard it from here first. Yes. And I thank you so much, Zero, for the information. All the stuff you teach. A wealth of knowledge. I'm very glad that Latina brought you here. All right. And remember, chat, with the sun, it's a warning what could possibly happen. Something may not happen. Hopefully it doesn't, but it's a warning about what could happen. All right. We talked about the JFK assassination. We talked about the moon landing, and I don't mind going over it again for the people here. But I'm going to go over some more right here. All right. The person says, I will now authenticate and release a real extraterrestrial language. This is all alleged. The user says, quote, I tried to get all of it in the picture, but it's missing some of the edges. Altogether, this is over 350 symbols and characters that make up the written language of civilization that crashed to Roswell. ETE2 Type C. Amen, Zero. Amen. Please note all four types of A to D utilize the same alphabet. This was leaked in the 2010s, but I first encountered it during my very first classified briefing at the end of January 2003 as part of the FAOSI's Operation Society Hike. The first classified document this copied photograph is from dates back to 1956 when it was first received via communication device similar to what you would call a laptop now, where we get the design from. It is actually where we get the first version of civilian text messaging from. Does anyone remember in the late 90s, early 2000s when you would text on a cell phone and you pressed the same key repeatedly in order to circulate through different letters? I remember that. Zero says, you people don't remember, they told us extraplanetaries were real back in 2020. Right. Dang, it looks like my Capitals are cooked. Hurricanes up 3-1. Scared. Orders to circulate through 3 different letters. T9 was a damn good time. Chilling and sipping some lime. Chilling and sipping some lime. Imagine a laptop keyboard where you had to do the same thing for the whole keyboard. So you can circulate through over 350 different symbols and characteristics. And then imagine the keyboard is slightly lighter than what you would find on a laptop. That is what we use to communicate with them starting in 1955 and then receiving an entire breakdown of the alphabet in 1956. This communication continued all the way through the 1960s. They are our biggest allies in data. It took over 5 years for them and us to have working understanding of each other's languages. I'm authenticating this now because of the symbols and characters that appear to be on this egg-shaped craft when I know that the species and civilization utilize egg-shaped crafts. I'm not saying that it is one of the same, but I'm providing this, authenticating it straight from the classified files so people have it as a reference. But regardless, this is 100% unequivocally an extraterrestrial language from almost 40 light years away. You always say you want something concrete. You say you want something released. Visually straight from the files, as I know this has only been leaked one time online and was transcribed into the publication from online leak. It's never been authenticated by anyone who has access to the classified file that comes from now. I am giving the official authentication. The day the Earth stood still. Oh yeah, yeah, I know about that. All right. Allegedly, this is an alien language that they use to communicate with them. Zoom in a little bit more. It is not doing that, so it's okay. No big deal. All right. So that is the image. Scared. Allegedly. So allegedly, it looks kind of similar to Asian, but it's not Asian or anything for this Earth. It does look like an encrypted language that would be used, like the spies, like Mission Impossible. They use stuff like this to communicate with intelligence. Like it looks like, say you have like A, B, C, D, and you have that. Now, as I said, it may not be true, but allegedly it is an alien alphabet. All right. Zero said that's old. I seen that back in the early 2000s. Oh, okay. Matt said it looks like something someone would make up by combining a bunch of other symbols and letters together to try to convince somebody it's a real alien language. It could be. It could be, Matt. Absolutely. We don't really know for certain either way, but it could be something that was made up by somebody. True. And also, this all could be a bunch of nonsense. Just remember that. It's just this is all alleged. Eugene said that's what conservatives say so they can use it. Right. Oh yeah, Moki, and also the Nazis had flying saucers like them. Absolutely. And also Antarctica too. There's something about Antarctica in this one as well. So let's go. I'm gonna go over the moon landing thing again. All right. Some of y'all saw this already, but there's some other people here that might have not seen this. So I'll talk about the moon landing. We can get to the moon landing in a moment. I want to go to something else we didn't cover yet. Let's do that first. Yeah, Foo Fighters. Let's see. This is the wrong one. Let's go here. What about Uncle Arctica? Scared. There's the moon landing thing. All right. All right, here we go. Let's talk about 2027. All right. Foo Fighters are named after a UFO. Oh, okay. Thank you. Okay. Reagan told the world, and they thought he was joking or talking. The MJ-1 himself told the world that they won't be stopped. You want to know the truth? Here it is. Okay, get ready, everyone, to call me a conspiracy theorist, but if you really want to know what's coming, but I'm trying to prevent, I'll tell you. In 1947, following Roswell, President Truman ordered the creation of the following: the CIA, U.S. Air Force, the National Security Act, the National Security Council, then used Classified Executive Order 54 1 12 to create the creation of a classified group of intelligence and military officers oversee the extraterrestrial subject and everything connected to it, answering only the president himself. It's officially listed as a special studies group. It's actually named is Majestic 12 Group. Yes, this is real. Once President Eisenhower took office, he lost control of them immediately. Majestic 12. Okay, thanks. President Eisenhower took back into picture. He was successful at doing so. Once President Eisenhower took office, he lost control of them immediately, and he asserted himself back into the picture. He was successful at doing so, but in a time he left in 1961, he lost almost all authority over Majestic 12 Group due to the classified nature of their existence. He called them by their nickname due to the farewell speech in 1961. He called them the Military Industrial Complex. From 1950s all the way to the 60s, MJ-12 was in contact with multiple extraterrestrial species and civilizations. This includes what is known as the Galactic Federation, or Light, or JFL. When you hear people refer to Galactic Federation, there's real name. During these interactions, especially with JFL, MJ-12 told that they would not be brought into the galactic community as part of itself, and would be continued in secret. If all the governments we had on our planet did not unite as one planet, so the 1960s MJ-12 starting putting a plan together by Ronald Reagan first administration. This plan finalized. It's now playing out before our eyes and has been for a while. Here it is. The UFOs that chased our planes during World War II. Ah, yes. Okay. Life is a bummer when you're a Hummer. I think people in society are taking the Kool-Aid, becoming sheeple, and becoming dumber. I'm excited for the summer, but if the sun heats us all up and destroys everything, it'll be a true bummer. The plan is to destabilize different regions of the world, using money, race, religion, culture, and politics to keep everyone divided worldwide. That's what I've been saying for years and years and years. That they want to keep people divided with money, with religion, with race, and culture. That's why I like my channel, and the thing that I was going to do would bring everybody together from different areas and spectrums of different thoughts and religious views. That's what I like about the trial chat, that they're usually people from different places to unite together, but now they've been more divided because of the trial. Everyone divided worldwide. Then let's start World War III, parallel to civil wars, including United States. The once everyone is their lowest point in the world, the Majestic 12 group will use their alien reproductive vehicles, ARVs, and their programmed life forms, PLFs, that they have been building for decades to stage a fake alien invasion on planet Earth. Billions of people will be deleted during this process, so they made something called an undesirables list. Undesirables list. Any country, region, or type of person that does not fit in the mold of what they see the future being will be eliminated along with other billions of casualties. It will blend right in, and the United Nations will release a statement informing all citizens the world that the order to fight a common enemy we have to unite as one species, and therefore all governments will be forming one government called the United Nations, then government body, and it will be ran by its founders, the United States of America, aka Majestic 12 Group. Then, after some fighting, they will hit off a switch, and we will be so called defeat this common enemy. Then everyone left will rebuild, and they will introduce the so-called good aliens, aka the real aliens, during the same time, and act like those aliens helped defeat the so-called enemy. I think this is 100% true, Moki. I don't agree with every single of theory in the lists that the dude put up, but this one makes sense because I've always said there are real aliens. Because you'll tell me about them staging a fake alien invasion. I think that's very possible, and I'm not denying that. But there's also real aliens out there because I felt that they would have to be tied into some way. But this answers my question, even if it's false, on how the aliens are in this. That they're going to come as the good aliens, but those aliens are actually the bad aliens. Exactly. Division just doesn't add up. Exactly. Yes, Zero, Project Bluebeam. Imoki said this is what allegedly 2027 will bring. Scared. So-called enemy. At this time, will be welcomed into the Galactic Federation as civilization, as citizens, as will be welcomed into the Galactic Federation as civilians, and not just in secret, with the world governments, and we will then move into what's called the Age of Love, the Summer of Love. Wink, wink. We are currently in something called the Age of Light. This is not the game. This is not a scam, and I will ask even everyone to read this, to repost it. This tragedy I can stop from happening. I have a plan, but no one's listening because no one is reading my whistleblower documents that doubles the proposal of Congress. Yes. That is true. They are more sophisticated. Makes me triggered. All right, this is allegedly what happened after World War II. All right. And as I said, all of this is alleged. It may not be even true. And this could just be for y'all's entertainment, if anything. All right. He will now release the accounts of Adolf Hitler. You first need to know that Hitler was selected purposely Allegedly, I will release you exactly who recruited and groomed the Timu Mustache individual for his position, why that was done, in order what secret organizations still exist today. His name was Karl Haushofer. As part of the Imperial German Army, he was then appointed to teach the War Academy in 1903, making a name for himself as a very versed in military operations and percussion, modeled after Persian military design, and garnered the attention of the Japanese Empire. In 1908, after spending 5 years the War Academy, he was sent to Tokyo, Japan, where he was to study Japanese military operations and but acting alter instructor of the Japanese Army starting in 1909. He was greeted by the Emperor himself, Kokuryu Kai. This man was the leader of the Black Dragon Society. The Black Dragon Society were the controlling underground network of powerful men that controlled all Japan and had infiltrated powerful circles all over Eastern Asia, and even the United States. And allegedly, the Timu Mustache individual did not unalive himself. Allegedly. All right. Yes, understood, Moki. I've seen different conspiracies about that over time. Yes, absolutely. And I'll give certain points about that after I read this. Within the Black Dragon Society was the Green Dragon Society, which was more exclusive, and within the Green Dragon Society was not most exclusive society, known as the Society of Green Men. Society of Green Men answered directly to the Alpha Draconian Reptilians, Type A, that I released last year. They had a plan to unite Japan and Germany to implement a one world empire. They were confident that they could conquer Russia by attacking them on two fronts, with Germany and Japan surrounding them. Their vision for Germany's new path forward involved finding the right figurehead who was both charismatic and intelligent, but willing to implement a cold hearted dictatorship or fascism. LOL, Steve. LOL. Haushofer then found the Tool Society in Munich in 1918, which secretly took their orders directly from the Society of Green Men. 1 year before becoming an associate professor of geopolitics at Munich University, he was also one of the founded Virile Society. Hello, Duke. Good to see you, buddy. At the behest of Rudolf Hess, he attended the Timu Mustache Man's trial for treason in Munich. This is where he made decision that Hitler was the chosen one for this plan, and immediately got approved with assistance. Hess, who was in Hitler's inner circle, he had been indoctrinate Hitler inside the prison cell at Lenzburg prison. I'm getting really ready for mine in 1923 through 24. Then, using the fuel connections, he was able to fund the rise of power. After release of the Timu Mustache Man, and formed the Nazi Party out of existing society. Hitler then came to power in 33. Then allegedly a fake unaliving himself, a fake self deletion following his defeat in World War II. This is what happened. He relocated with all the surviving and so-called missing SS commanders and members, but not before kidnapping and transporting tens of thousands of blonde-haired, blue-eyed women out of Germany to southern Argentina. The reason why southern Argentina was selected is because it was closest point to Antarctica, where at that time it was decided that the Nazis would be relocated to reptilian base that borders the sub-ice city of Atlantis, catty corner of the Palladian base. The Nazis first encountered their first trip to Antarctica, which became violent. Oh no, it was not a guy named Greenman. It was Green Men, like the aliens. However, due to his defeat, he was not permitted to join them and was forced to live out the rest of his days lakeside isolation and passed away in 1980s. That, my friends, is exactly what happened to this individual. He Hitler did not was not deleted allegedly at the end of World War II and was selected and groomed by individual that was selected and groomed by secret society within the secret society answered to extraterrestrials. Antarctica sounds nice. Nazis and reptilians. It's very important to understand that Christianity and Catholicism saw lending money, usury, as a sin, hence why most Jews worked in banking and industry in Europe. That is true, Matt. Now, I disagree with that, and I think it's fine for Christians to lend money. I think it's not a sin, personally. I think it's a fine thing for people to do. But that is true, Matt, correct. That's what the church told people at the time, and the Jews did it. Then they blamed the Jews for everything, but they're the ones that had them do it. They could have just done it themselves. Now, Matt, the Knights Templar did money lending originally, but the Knights Templar were not really liked by the church. But now, I will say this, is that when the Timu Mustache Man had Parkinson's disease and he was not very well mentally, so if he would have, I don't think he would have had the energy or survived to Argentina, and he was not in good shape. So I think like what he said, he would fall with Berlin, he would like go down with the ship, so to speak. Also, they weren't, in my opinion, singling out blonde hair, blue eyed people because he didn't have blonde hair. It seemed like a German nationalistic movement. So I don't think the blue eyes and blonde hair, that was something that they liked and it was something Europeans have, but I don't think they were trying to create a blonde hair, blue eyed race. He didn't have blonde hair himself. I do not support him. He was very sick what he did to the Jews and everybody else. He was not a nice person. And regardless of anything he did, people say allegedly that helped Germany. He was very bad what he did to the planet. But yeah, there's a lot of things that I don't completely agree with what some of the theories say. But I do believe there is a group of Nazis that had an occult, and they believed in some of these things like aliens and stuff like that, and their Nordic gods. So they're like Hendrik Himmler, I think, would fit the bill. That was this type of person that did this. Heinrich Himmler, because he was in a cult with his SS, and they believed in stuff like this. And Hendrik Himmler was trying to find the mythical Aryan race. So it would be more likely that he was the one that was behind this, and Hendrik Himmler was head of the SS. So if this was true, it would be Hendrik Himmler. So yes, I do believe that they collaborated with aliens. I believe there's truth to that, and they did have flying saucers. But it was certain factions of the party believed in certain things. I don't think they all thought as a collective. I think there are different pockets. And I do believe the Timu Mustache Man was most likely groomed by some occultic groups. Yeah, I do believe that's true. But I don't know what is and what isn't. All this is alleged. Okay? I don't know what is and what isn't. But basically, this is just what's there for y'all to see. Y'all believe it or not, it's up to y'all. Matt, I know what you meant. Usury. Usury. Yes. Lending money with interest. And as I said, I think that's okay if both parties are okay with it. They can do that with interest, but to not do it to a certain point where it causes the other party a problem, I think it's good for healthy communication with money lending and to not over cause the other user a problem, as the customer is always right. But yeah, I do understand what you're saying, Matt. Thank you. I have a lots of fake Gustav Klimt in my house art, the rival of the Austrian painter. Oh, okay, understood. I think it was 6 million Jews, and I do believe he was a devil. Cecil, I do agree with that. It's an evolutionary imperfective, regardless of race, to prefer a lighter skinned biologist. Theorized it's because it's easier to detect diseases from further away. Okay, Matt, thank you for that information. I think it's weird too. I'm not into it either. Now there are some people that were given a honorary Aryan status. Like there's allies that he had that were not white from like the Middle East and stuff. But as I said, it's still the racial ideology. Yeah, it's quite strange. Yes. And also in India, they have a whitening centers, much like we have tanning salons. Yes, that is true. They have. There's a certain in some cultures having fair complected skin, especially in Japan, is seen as a hierarchy thing. In Victoria, England, they in the Victorian times, light skin was seen as nobility. Now, I will say, everybody, there are Jews with white skin, very fair skin, blonde hair, and blue eyes that the Nazis still excommunicated that from Germany. So there's people that I've known that would fit this stereotype, but because they were Jewish, they were kicked out of Germany. And there's people that don't have those features that were accepted by them. So as I said, I think that it had to do with they were wanting to blame the Jewish people for stuff that happened that they weren't responsible for, and they blamed a whole group of people for an actions of whatever politicians or people they're angry at. And they had this German movement that went bad, and they did so much genocide. Also, many soldiers were deleted because of what he did. Also, London was bombed. I think he was a very, sick person. You know, like Stalin. Stalin is also bad, and the communists are bad too. And they have a similar type of thing with that they want to create a utopian society. That's similar to like what the aliens would want. And the aliens kind of live in a collective hive, sort of like we're talking about with Serpo, the aliens on there. So I think that communism's also similar to what this thing is too, if not worse. And communism also, they genocided people in China and Cambodia. So both fascism and communism are both terrible ideologies, for the human race. Aryan White and the Seven Dwarf Astronauts. Scared. Scared. Eugene, that was hilarious. Blacker the bear, sweeter the juice. Persia changed their name to Iran, which literally means Aryan. Exactly. Right. And there's a lot of like the Caucasian people originated from the northern part of the Middle East. And also in Nordic mythology, they have the Yggdrasil tree, and it's very similar to the tree of life. That the chakra is similar to there's chakras on the spine. It's similar to the tree of life from Nordic mythology, and the Nordic people are connected to the people from northern India. And as I said, that doesn't mean to go and exterminate people that are not part of this group. It can exist, but you don't have to exterminate all the people. And I do also think that, as I said, they were mad at these different things that people were doing, and they took it out in a bad way. Matt, I did not say that. That was that was a Timu alien somewhere on the ship, but it was not me. Scared. 1.45 billion in India counting. There is a limit to the number of people in the world can sustain. You could fit the population of Earth in Los Angeles, allegedly. Yeah, they did a study, and you could fit everybody in the world in Los Angeles. That's how crowded our Earth is. That's how much space that we don't have left. So yeah, it's really a messed up situation. Right. All right. We're still talking about this now. What I'm going to derail this into Diddy. We're talking about some updates with Diddy, and we'll get back to the other thing. All right, Diddy. Tons of space. We just can't use it. All right, that's Diddy right there. Allegedly. All right, Five Cats. Good night to you. Thank you for being here. You're gonna go ham. When this place turns into water world. Noah's sons, Japhet, Caucasians, allegedly. Yes, Eugene, correct. Now, I have a friend from Germany, and he doesn't even believe in aliens too much. He doesn't really believe they're real. He has doubts about them. Now, the Weimar Republic was very bad. That was what became before the Austrian Timu Mustache Man. People are the Reichsmark was worth $1 was worth $1 billion of Reichsmarks. They had hyperinflation, and their economy was collapsing. So, as I said, they're desperate people, but they did the wrong thing. Dry humor is not a myth. Is it because he's taking a physics class? A Timu physics class. Scared. What we covered here. Okay. Combs trial. The first day of Sean Diddy Combs' federal criminal trial ended after prosecutors called two witnesses, a Los Angeles police officer and a male revenue manager, to take the stand after opening statements. The officer recounted responding to distress call in 2016 after video captured Combs physically assaulting ex-girlfriend Casey Ventura. While the manager testified he was paid to have sex with Ventura, witnesses' testimony will resume tomorrow morning. Federal charges. Federal charges. Combs has pleaded not guilty to charges that include racketeering, conspiracy, sex trafficking, and transportation to engage in prosecution. If convicted on all counts, he could face up to life in prison. See a timeline of the case. Five Cats. Peace. Matt says, I was more referring to the fact that I am skeptical and non-believing on aliens to taking physics class in college. Oh, Matt, I was actually not talking about you. I have a friend in Germany. And yeah, he was saying he didn't believe in the aliens. But also, you're skeptical about the aliens. I know you're skeptical about them. I was referring to Super D. And I went and I showed him an alien video of all the UFOs. There's something out there. But yeah, Matt, I know that you're skeptical of the aliens. It's all good. Federal charges. Combs has pleaded Germany is a friend to no one, except their own fellow Germans. Scared. Federal charges. Combs has pleaded not guilty, and graphic allegations. Prosecutors claim that Combs coerced at least 3 women into engaging in 6 acts with him at the time, with male prostitutes during the occasional known as freak-offs, where women were allegedly drugged and forced to emerge in the activities. Our live coverage, let's see, catch up to today's, okay. Music mogul Sean Diddy Combs began today in New York, where he faces 5 counts, including racketeering, conspiracy, 2 counts of trafficking, and transportation engaging in prostitution. Matt, the reason why is because there's no life without dark. There could be as great someone could be, as bad as they could be. You know, it's like they could have potential to make something very good or very bad. If convicted, he could face life in prison. Combs had pleaded not guilty to charges. Here's what to know from the opening statements in the first witness testimony. Prosecution's opening statements. Assistant U.S. Attorney Emily Johnson said there was another side to Combs, the cultural icon who ran a criminal enterprise with an inner circle of people who helped him commit crimes and cover up. Here's what else she walked through. Johnson detailed that Combs forced his former girlfriend Cassie Ventura to have sex with the male escorts, filmed it, and kept the recording as blackmail. Resourcing from Combs, businesses were used to sexually exploit multiple women, Johnson said. Johnson described freak-offs are multi-day events that Combs allegedly orchestrated, where women, including Ventura, were allegedly drugged and forced into unwanted sex acts. Much of the prosecution's case will focus on Ventura, another victim who will be identified the pseudonym Jane during the trial, Johnson said. Yes, blackmail with black males. That's true. Sexual. Yeah, Eminem said in his rap video, his rap song, that Diddy had Pac killed. Yep, allegedly, yeah. Matt said, "Is she related to Ace Ventura?" Yep, that's true. That was a funny movie. Defense opening arguments. Defense attorney Tenny Gregos said that while Combs takes full responsibility for his violent behavior, domestic violence is not sex trafficking. Here's what else Gregos said. Gregos told the jury that they will hear evidence of Combs' sexual preference and it may made them uncomfortable. The panel is not here to judge him for those preferences. Scared. The defense attorney called the 2016 video in which Combs is seen assaulting Ventura indefensible, but instead it's evidence of domestic violence, not sex trafficking. Gregergos said Ventura made a choice of staying with Combs for 11 years and made them choice to break up with him on her own terms. All right, Cecil, good night to you. First witness testimony: Los Angeles police officer Israel Flores was a security official at the Intercontinental Hotel in March 2016, where he got a call saying there was a woman in distress. Here's what he said in the stand. He said he stepped out of the elevator and saw Combs and the woman in the elevator lobby. Flores testified the escort Combs and Ventura back to the hotel room. All right, bro. Flores also testified that Combs approached him in the hotel room with not a wad of cash, a wad of cash that he interpreted to be a bribe. He declined the cash. He said Ventura later left the hotel with a purple eye, scared. He filed a report on the incident after, but he said he didn't call the police because there was no victim there. Obviously, nobody was pressing charges. Second witness testimony came from Daniel Phillip, who described his role as managing male strippers for women. Phillip will be back on the stand tomorrow. Here's what he said today. Phillip said he was called in 2012 and receive money to have sex with Ventura. He testified to having sex with Ventura while Combs was sitting in the corner doing something nefarious with a cucumber. You know what? It's a code word for another organ when I say cucumber. Or a banana. His banana. No pun intended. He said that Combs would direct him. Ventura also, they had sex, asked them to use baby oil. Every time Combs recorded the sex on one of two occasions, Phillip said Combs once took a picture of his driver's license and said it was for insurance purposes, which he perceived as a threat.
Where's the baby?
A cat somewhere. He's around.
Oh, why is he there?
At her home, dragging her by the hair into the bedroom. He didn't report the incident because he was afraid he may lose his life. You know, Diddy's really a sicko. He's certainly from Timu. And Moki, we'll go over some more of the conspiracy theories. We're just kind of checking up some stuff with Diddy. Man testified he was paid to have sex with. Man testified he was paid to have sex with Casey Ventura. Here's a recap of his testimony. Daniel Phillip, the prosecution's second witness in Sean Diddy Combs' federal criminal trial, testified about his sexual encounters with Combs and the music mogul's former girlfriend, Casey Ventura. Phillip will be back on the stand to continue testifying under the cross-examination tomorrow morning. All right, Moki. Okay, understood. You know, because you in the chat, I'll do everything I can for all of you. But thank you, Moki. I appreciate it. That was very nice of you to say. I'm glad I met you, Moki. I'm glad that you revealed much information, and I learned a lot from you about the aliens and other things. My aunt said that in the document with the JFK, allegedly Lyndon B. Johnson had JFK assassinated. Well, that's something she found out. Have you heard of that? First encounter, Philip testified that he went to Gramercy Park Hotel expecting to perform for a bachelorette party, but when he arrived, Ventura was allowed. Philip, there was also a man was sitting in the room wearing a white robe, a hat, and a bandana, covering sitting in the room wearing a white robe, a hat, and a bandana, covering his face, his nose down. Philip said immediately, recognizing the man's voice as Combs, though Combs didn't truthfully identify himself on the time. Descriptions of Combs during interactions. Philip testified that Combs would direct him and Ventura as they had sex. He testified about one occasion when Ventura instructed him to urinate on her, and Combs was pleasuring himself while this happened. He said Philip also testified Combs recorded them having sex on one of the two occasions using phone and camcorder device. Possible drug use. Philip testified that Ventura appeared to be intoxicated on drugs. Once they met him, he said he once took Molly, a synthetic drug that Combs offered him. He said he felt nauseous but euphoric at the same time. Account of violence. Philip recounted incident where Ventura was the computer where Combs shouted at her to come here. Philip testified before he started dragging her by the hair until the bedroom. He testified Casey was screaming and repeatedly saying, "I'm sorry," while he heard what sounded like Combs slapping her. He said he was shocked and was worried about the losing my life, he reported in the incident. We'll get something real quick. We pretty much did all that. That's good. All right. Awesome. Thank y'all for hitting the like button. I appreciate it. Thanks for all the likes. Defense cross-examination. Philip's background. Philip testified on cross-examination that he wasn't an active stripper or dancer when his boss asked him to go meet Ventura and Combs for the first time. He testified that he would sometimes fill in if he was needed, and that day his boss said that it was a request for a black male stripper and no one else available that fit the description. This man's a wild man. Early focus on hotel video at the trial speaks to bigger narratives in the prosecution's case, legal analyst. I personally think that this should be publicized. We should be seeing videos of this. There may be a larger reason why the prosecution is focusing on the graphic video footage of Sean Diddy Combs physically assaulting his former girlfriend, Casey Ventura, in a California home in 2016. This early to the trial, Misty Maris, a legal analyst and defense attorney not affiliated with the case, told CNN on Monday. The jury was shown the video footage during the testimony of their first witness called to the stand. I want to make clear about Moki what you're talking about with the Alien Invasion of 2027. Rod Serling did a similar Twilight Zone episode to that. And I think Rod Serling was ahead of his time. And a lot of things in his show came true and is still relevant to the modern age. No pity for Diddy. He's extremely shitty. This video is so central to prosecution's case, not because it depicts Combs and Casey in an altercation, Maris said. It's part of a bigger narrative for the prosecution that Combs, in any instance to get individuals to comply in this criminal enterprise and with the conduct and freak offs that he used violence to do so. This all plays into what the prosecutors have to prove. Maris said, which force, fraud, and corrosion, something like that. It's a word that I'm supposed to know, but I don't think I quite get it. The witness earlier today, Officer Israel Flores, who worked as security at the former Intercontinental Hotel in Los Angeles at the time, testified about his interactions with Combs and Ventura afterwards. On cross-examination, Combs' defense attorney, Brian Steele, made a point to undercut some of these points by questioning Flores about why several details in his testimony about encounter were not included in an indecent report he testified he wrote at the time. It's really sowing doubt, which is point into the jury's mind and framing how they want these witnesses to be reviewed with some skepticism moving forward. Maris said defense strategy. Ultimately, Maris added, it's interesting to see video come out with such witness show how critical it is in this case. That is so fascinating. Brian Steele is defending Diddy. He has Brian Steele on his side. He could have a chance of winning this, maybe. I know that sounds crazy, but that man's a brilliant attorney. And although I'm against Diddy, he has a very... Shout out to Brian Steele. Oh, man, I wish this was televised. I would love to see Brian Steele at work again. Even if I'm against Diddy, as much as I'm against Diddy, I would love to see Brian Steele back in action. That could have been like a YSL reunion in the chat. Come on. I mean, we got to change laws in this country to have trials being federal. All right, now, Moki, with Alan, he said he was kind of trolling me the other night when I was live. There was a troll that bothered me, and he said he was kind of joining in with the troll, so I don't want him here anymore. All right, so yeah, I had an issue with Alan. Anyway, male revenue manager recalls moment he saw Combs drag Ventura by her hair. Daniel Phillip recounted one incident, which I will be more clear about what happened, Moki. All right. So basically what happened was there is a troll that was talking about my appearance or something. Something like that. Okay, Moki, so I'm going to tell you what happened. I'll pause this for a second. I'll tell you what happened. So there was a troll that was talking about my looks, about my hair, my face, and everything. And I made like a joke about, oh, that the. I said, oh, the. The troll is mad at me. So this is not Alan. And basically, what happened was I was saying, oh, I. The troll is attacking me because of my movie star looks. And Alan said that I am cute, but not movie star cute. And hopefully it was something taken the wrong way, but I was offended by that. And usually gives me very nice compliments. He is gay, that's okay. But usually he gives nice compliments, but I did not appreciate, saying that, oh, I'm not movie star cute. I thought that was an insult. And I take trolling very seriously, and I've been trolling this platform for a long time. So any disrespect, it is not a good situation to be on a channel. He did not apologize, and he didn't say it was a misunderstanding. He was like, oh, I lost my wrench. So, as I said, for now, I don't want him here. And hopefully it was a misunderstanding, all right? And usually he says very nice compliments to me. I don't know what the deal was, but as I said, if anyone disrespects any of you or me, just like what other channels do, is they get rid of them when they get rid of the trolls. As I said, hopefully it was a misunderstanding, all right? I'm open to change, but as I said, I did not like that incident, all right? So I'm straightforward about what happened. And that is what it is. All right. Thank you, Caraville and Moki. Yeah, hopefully it was a misunderstanding. Hopefully it was a misunderstanding, but I don't, and as I said, there are actors that do look like me, and I have been complimented for my looks, by him included. So as I said, I don't know why people doing that. Right, Regina was there. Maybe he was drinking or something. I don't know, as I said. Hopefully it was just a misunderstanding, but as I said, for now, I take it seriously. If you lose the spanner, if you have no manners. Absolutely. Yes, Caraville. Understood. Yes, thank you. He is very fond of me. I know. Absolutely. All right. And I'll be continuing with this other part right here about the Diddy thing. All right. Caraville says Brian Steele is pretty baller with YSL, but there is a huge difference between the state trial and federal. Was much corruption, mistakes by the Georgia trial. It's not going to happen in the federal case. Okay. All right. Okay, thank you, Moki. You're welcome, Regina. And I give the wrench to people that I know personally, like from YouTube. So that's why I have so many mods, because all the friends that I have. All right, anyway. Now, I'm going to mention this one more thing about the Diddy trial, then I'll talk about some of the conspiracy theory thing, and then we'll end it. Thank you, Matt. Right, Caraville. Yeah. Male revenue manager recalls moment he saw Combs drag Ventura by the hair. Yeah, shout out to Matt MR. He's keeping us in check. Daniel Phillip recounted one incident where he saw Sean Diddy Combs assault Casey Ventura at her home. I was shocked, he said. All right, good night to you, Eugene. Ventura was on the computer when Combs shouted at her to come here, Phillip testified. When Casey responded that her personal information was up on the computer, Combs came out and started dragging her by the hair in the bedroom, Phillip said. Oh, yes, Caraville. And anytime you have to go, good night to you, buddy. And shout out to you and your client, to your hard, good, very good attorney. All right, understood. He testified Casey was screaming and repeatedly saying, "I'm sorry," while he heard what sounded like Combs slapping her. Phillip testified that Combs kept on saying, "Biatch, when I tell you to come here, you come here now," later. Phillip testified, "I didn't know what to do. I was shocked." Carville said, "Yeah, there's a video of him in the hotel hallway. So, yeah, I heard the claim a lot didn't happen when there are witnesses in a video." In my mind, it was going through my head, if I tried to do something, I might lose my life. When he asked why he didn't report the incident, Phillips said, "My thoughts were that this was someone with ultimate power and chances. Thoughts that was with someone unlimited power and chances that even if I did go to the police, I might end up losing my life." At some point, visibly upset, Ventura emerged from the other room. Combs asked if they were ready to continue. Phillips said he continued to continue after that, though, and he thought he may have tried to act like everything was okay. He can't remember if he was paid that day, Phillips said. Phillips said he continued to see the, the couple after that violent incident because he had developed a sort of friendship with Cassie. Oh, okay, Carville. Thank you. Quote, "It was my way of being able to check on her and know that she was okay," he said. All right, did that. Location: Montos Olivino, Italy. Year 1976. Person who took the photo: Professor Bruno Sammasia. Yes, absolutely, Moki. Absolutely. The original negatives for the photograph are held at the Swiss bank security vault that is it's owned by the same Swiss citizens who owns this picture. Name of ETENHI. He introduced himself as Dimpetro when he spoke Italian. His nickname that humans close to him called him was Mr. Quino. Here is the information I have on this extraterrestrial entity. His height is approximately 9 foot 11 inches. He is a commander of the largest extraterrestrial base of the Adriatic coast. He is benevolent and represents a benevolent species and civilization. His home planet is the fourth planet out of the Altair solar system. Hey, and isn't that something? That sounds similar to the channel that 666 is watching. Less than 18 light years away from Earth, he was part of the W56 program that originated in Italy in 1956. He can harness the photons naturally. He likes to laugh and play jokes. Oh, hello, Silver. Good to see you. And he likes to laugh and play jokes and play the violin. And this is the alleged picture of him. Alleged picture of the alien. Silver, we were talking about Diddy. Well, actually, we're about to finish it, but we were talking about Diddy. And Brian Steele is one of his attorneys, by the way. And now we're talking about some more of the conspiracy theory stuff. Yeah, that's the alleged 9-foot alien. Oh, I wasn't showing the picture. My bad. Okay. All right. I have to go back. Okay. Okay. All right. This is the alleged alien humanoid. Yeah, he looks human. All right. There we are. It's it again, black and white, and in color. Yeah, Silver, I agree. And also, there are these allegations that were happening about what he was doing to all these people and all this abuse that he was doing. That was really hard for the family to watch, the kids. Yeah, definitely. I agree. As I said, I wish it was televised. That would have been really good. Moki said she's going to be very suspicious of all tall people now. Scared. And Caravel said that's not 9 feet. That is 6 foot something by someone who doesn't know what 6 inches really is. Right. All three types of reptilian alien species on Earth are originally from the Draco constellation of star systems. Here are the three types. Originally from the Thuban star system. Oh, you believe his? Oh, the sons knew about the behavior. Ah, yeah. There you go. And for them being quiet about it, I wonder how they live with themselves being quiet about that. And Matt said, "I'm only suspicious when children sit on each other's shoulders and put on trench coats and pretend that they are grown up." Ah, yeah, scared. Type A, originally from the Thuban star system, aka Alpha Draconis. Approximately 300 light years from Earth, this is a single star system. This species is the oldest and most influential reptilian species of the three. They have neck, and that is almost a foot long, small ears and large pupils that are oval shaped. They have a snout like a small dinosaur with two breathing holes for a nose and a long, wide mouth. The skin on the front of their neck is loose like an iguana, and their spine area is raised ridge of the scaled skin that follows the spine. They are cold blooded. They eat meat, and as well as we consume blood and other bodily fluids from mammals, they can dedicate fear, and when they do pleasure endorphins are released when their brain, because fear turns them on. The sons participated. Ah, I believe I've read that before. Thanks, Smokey. One of the sons are charged for grape, but any of his kids or family that does not like what he did, it must be very awkward for them. And those people that participated in the grape, I wonder how they live with themselves. Complete psychopathic scumbags. I know that psychopathic and sociopathic are interchangeably used. All right, but I'm just saying that when you're one or the whatever it is, they are completely no empathy, compassion for other people. Complete monsters. Diddy can't beat the feds. He's doomed. Moki said, I'd be scared if I saw a reptilian. Feel like I could take a gray if they put the way me on me. Yeah. The grays are actually very easy to fight back. If you touch them, firmly touch them, that causes them to have the terrible pain, and they go, oh. They're actually very weak. Like, if you touch it slightly, it would be mortally bruised. If you hit it, it would probably delete it. But they have a lot of weapons, and, they have a pen that they could point at you and cause you to freeze. Or get you to forget your memory. The Grey's power is in their technical abilities. The lizard aliens, their power is in their muscles and their height. And their Timu Crayonge. Scared. Also, Silver said the mother's part of it too. A whole family of morons. A whole family of snakes. How do they go? If you're talking about how they, dispose of waste, you probably weren't even talking about that. My mind thinks all kinds of things. Basically, they're like robots. So they don't have those type of mechanisms we would and other creatures would have. But you could be a little bit more specific what you mean, because I know you weren't probably talking about that. How do the Greys go deposit waste? As I said, they're like robots. They don't really have that. But I don't know. If they do deposit waste, I'm sure it's like purple or something. And I'm sure that it's something that out of this world that we would not comprehend. You have space waste. Space shield. I made you laugh. Moki said you made me laugh when you imitated the injured Gray. Oh yeah, me and my buddy we would do that all the time. It's like you go and hit a Gray, it's like this. Oh. And the Gray's just morally wounded. And then also it's like you touch it and it goes, oh. Yeah, hilarious, yeah. Alright, Type B. Originally from the Arrakis star system, aka Mu Draconis. Yes, it glows in the dark. I did a story about that and with their stuff glowing in the dark. They excrete through their skin. That's why they stink. Scared. Yeah, absolutely. I was talking to Randy and some other chat one time, and I was talking to her about the space dogs, and I said the space dog stuff glows. It's a glow in the dark, and it's different colors. It's probably worth $1 trillion on this planet. Lord have mercy. Type B. Originally from the Arrakis star system, aka New Draconis. Approximately 89 light years from Earth, this is multi-star system. This species has wrinkled forehead and very sharp angled ears that are set off of their scalp, but a half an inch. Their neck is approximately 6 to 8 inches long, and have loose skin around not only their neck but also their upper chest. They have large oval and yet vertical pupils. Their skin appears to be more bumpy than scaled, yet still scaled. Their mouth is huge, looks like two clam shells opposite of each other. This species is cold blooded and consume meat and plant based food. Matt, that was brilliant. Yes, I am serious. Scared. Scared. Imagine a gray sitting on the toilet. You know, that's something interesting. Yeah. And it's like everything's glowing, and there's like party music because it's like musical waste, and it yeah. So more interesting than us Earthlings. Oh, you will see a space dog, absolutely. Type C, originally from the Chi Draconis star system, approximately 26 light years from Earth. This is binary star system. The species of reptilian look and is shaped like Homo sapiens, but with a snake-like skin and chameleon abilities to look like regular humans of any pigmentation. As defense mechanism, however, they have a flatter looking nose close to the face with two oval openings for nostrils. Their lips are no different from the rest of their skin, an average sized mouth of what you would see on a human. Their eyes are slightly larger than ours, but with the vertical pupil resembling a cat eyes. They are cold blooded. This reptilian species, instead of giving birth the way the first two do, they have an egg inside their body that hatches inside of the female mother womb, and they give live birth to what came out of it. This species eats meat and plant based food and blood from the certain mammals. Hello, Anunnaki. It's great to see you again. It's been a while. All right. Shout out to you, buddy. All three types of reptilians range in height from about 5 feet to 6 foot 1.5 inches tall. However, the type A have genetically created a flying reptile similar to what we imagine the dragon looks like to fight for them, but this does not breathe fire and is not large. I do not recall exactly how big this creature is, but I do know they are large enough to be ridden. Scared. Hilarious, Matt. Hilarious. Reptilians had a presence on Earth for millions of years, ever since their female warriors overthrew the Alpha Draconis kings and took over the power replacing them as queens. Anunnaki says, pleasure always mine, alien. Forgive me, been sick and was in hospital. Surgery was success. Now I'm recovering and doing well. Fine, thanks. Oh, Anunnaki. Well, I'm glad that you're doing better now. And prayers for you, dude. Thank you. You know, thanks for the update. The city of Atlantis was a reptilian city that had cloned humans as slaves and extraterrestrial humanoids such as the Nordics and the tall whites living amongst them there. After two close pass of the planet, Nibiru approximately 13,000 years ago caused what is known as the Great Flood when the poles shifted due to the massive gravitational pull. The continent in which this city has been accessed since then, it is still bustling technologically advanced city. The reptilians have a second large base also in Antarctica, which is subterranean house in the Nazi Fourth Reich, its German intelligence unit, and their fleet of alien reproduction vehicles known as viral discs. Only the following clearance of the files, top secret. Allegedly, that's allegedly a top secret file. Let's see. All right, we're almost done here. Almost done here. Perfect topic for Anunnaki. The Nibiruians, Anunnaki, had presence in South America as well. Not only was there more gold found in that region, but when a member of the Inki's bloodline All right, Anunnaki. These are alleged. There's a YouTuber called Whistleblower, and he alleges that he had these top secret documents and he's releasing them. We do not know if these are real or not, but these are the alleged leaked documents. Its bloodline was banished to this area. Inky's bloodline was banished to this area. Other humans were sent with him for him to start his own civilization. The reason why he was banished was because he deleted Ab Eel, but was not punished by deletion because he was a descendant of Inky. So, out of respect for him, they banished Kai. Right before we were authorized to have civilization, we were taught farming and agriculture. The two chosen for the fort was Kain and Ab-Eel. Ab-Eel was chosen to be the one who learned how to raise livestock and cook meat and offspring to the gods, Nibiruians. Anunnaki says, there's no Nibiru planet, not even a single text from mine ancestors about a planet called Nibiru. They did have a word, thus Nibiru, but it was associated with the suing. Nibiru means cross, a hole, a cross over, the leap over. Now, there is strong evidence that there is a planet out there beyond the solar system like that. There is evidence that it's there. And also, I've done research that there was a planet a long time ago that passed through that area, in my opinion. But thank you, Anunnaki, for your insight. They were called An Yuna, the Heavenly Ones. The cook meant offerings to the gods, Nibiruians. Cain was chosen to learn agriculture and farming. He was to learn to grow wheat and barley and other foods to offer the gods as well. After years of tolling the soil and learning the livestock trade, it was time to make their first presentation to the grandfather Lord Inki and his brother Lord Enlil. It was also spelled Heya, no Na. Ah, okay. Thank you, Anaki. When Cain presented his freshly made bread, it was enjoyed by the two. They were pleased to have, and he was very happy to see this, however. It exactly means crater from heaven. Ah, okay. When it came time for Abiel, the present of his offering, it was a sizzling and great smelling piece of lamb. Now you can imagine the pleasure the gods showed while they ate lamb, just like difference between eating empty hamburger buns and putting a sizzling cheeseburger in the middle. Cain was hurt and jealous that next day fields Abiel bragged about how much the gods loved his offering, Cain, because enraged he beat Abiel's head in with a rock until he was deleted and was found crying over the body by his mother. He is the reason why there were ever Incas or Aztecs or Mayans. They were descendant of Cain, allegedly. Enil, who was the first command here on Earth, the brother of Enki, had previously over 200,000 years earlier of Enki, the serpent from the language, some astrologically, modestly, and other knowledge where they were displayed within the Edin, which was located between northern Africa and the Sinai Peninsula. This is why all South American ancient civilizations either recognized or worshipped the serpent god Eniki, and other Nibiruians would visit this area not only to check Cain, also descendants, but the load up gold. The ones that would come load up the gold would be shuttlecraft. When existing the shuttlecraft, they would still have on their helmets and have their backpacks with oxygen machines. You're welcome, Moki. You have a great night. See you tomorrow, fam. All right. A little bit, after this article is done, the stream will be over with. With oxygen machines that they would carry as they exit the craft. This is the depiction that you see in these hieroglyphics. And the reason why you see them in both of these areas because they're depicting the exact same thing, but eye of the beholder interprets that the helmet would look like as being either a bird head or a lizard head type look. The wings are simply an indication that they knew that this being was capable of flight because, as I said, this is depicting them right after they would land and exit the craft. Hello, Mary Toodles. And also, person says, I learned during the 6th classification briefing of 2009, which was the most disturbing briefing I ever received. The person says, taught me the truth and behind religion, angels, God, demons, and the devil, heaven and hell. All this is alleged stuff. The person cried for 3 days, 24-year-old man who had no one allowed to tell this to. So this is the true story, allegedly, according to what the classified files, specific DIA manuals, Majestic 12s, special operation manuals, and CIA group caretaker manuals, and the person says, "How's a good day?" N is a rank. It was given to Anunnaki gods and associated with commanding a mastery of Nin. In other hand, was rank of the engineers, field engineers. Ah, thank you, thank you. All right. So these are the alleged pictures. You got some lamb, kind of like a people chilling, and you got some people chilling there. But this is really what you got to look at here. It's all kind of grainy looking on my end too. And then you have this is like a reptilian type head of like with their gods. Yeah, my opinion. I think that the fallen ones created these fictitious stories about how the Earth was made, and that these Nibiruians or these Anunnaki gods are now. I do believe in aliens from other planets, but I do also think a lot of this could be from fallen angels, the fallen watchers. They made up some stuff to deceive people. Right. As I said, Anunnaki, your take is always really important in these situations because you know the culture the best about the Anunnakis and stuff. All right. All right. Now we talked about Diddy, we talked about trials, and we talked about the conspiracy theory stuff. Shout out to Moki for this information. If it's true or not true, it's interesting to look at. All right, you have Google. Shout out to the Spaceship Cats. Okay. All right, and it will show the alien right here. All right, here I am. All right. Yeah. Also, there's going to be some sort of a solar wave that's going to hit us on the 15th, and Zero, as he said, be warned. Scared. Something could happen. And also, we have reached the point of ending the stream. All right, so it is now over with.
You don't have to end it.
I know, but I was just going to end the stream when this was over with.
Cancel. I was just being considerate. That's all.
I know. I'm just saying before you came here, I said that.
You don't understand.
Thank you, though, for being considerate. And Anunnaki says, I was born in Iraq, and I am native Iraq descent of Assyrians, so I was blessed my history in their writings. Yes, yes. Amen. All right. All right, so we have...
What kind of food later? Maybe the next time the person ate in Iraq. Like what kind of food did they eat?
it said about what?
Like maybe next time the person that was born in Iraq can talk about what kind of food they eat in Iraq.
All right, all right. That sounds good.
For a future broadcast.
Yeah. And we're talking about falafels
Right.
the last time from Greece, yeah, and it also the Iraq foods probably we'll talk about that when you come here next time Anunnaki we'll talk about that. Iraq. It's probably pronounced Iraq. Oh, come on, Timu. And all right, Herville says, "Always a pleasure to see you, alien. I'm sure I will see you tomorrow. Yes, you will, God willing. Yeah, Regina, thank you. And also, you're lucky to learn the cuneiform ancient writings and alphabet. That's really cool. You got to learn those ancient writings. That's very, very important, especially when we're talking about these historical things. All right. Very good skill to know. All right, everybody. Well, I'm going to do this. Go on. All right, everybody. Have a very good evening. Thank you for participating in this surprise kind of Monday live. And peace. I didn't do the balloons. Let's see if we get the balloons to show up. If they don't, that's okay. All right, there we go.